Hey guys, it's Lilith. Welcome back to my channel, and a lot of shit has changed since the last time we saw each other. I know that you saw the title, I know why you're here, but first let's address something you can already see. My hair is purple now. It's blowing in the wind a little bit right now because it is so hot in here. I'm scared to turn the fan off. I might not have a choice though because it's making my hair look crazy and it's getting in my face. We're gonna try together. That's already so much worse. The last time you guys saw me, I had red hair, and now my hair is purple. It's hard to tell in this lighting, which is part of why I did it. I put on all blue lights. It's already starting to fade a little bit. The red didn't come out very well, and I put purple over it, but it wasn't a regular hair dye. It was Exmondo color depositing mask, and that's not staying very well, and every time I touch my hair, my hand starts to turn kind of purple. And I don't know if you can see that very well or if it just looks like the blue light. I can't tell on my camera, but my hand actively keeps turning purple. Everything in my house is turning purple, and I'm probably just gonna have to go back to using a different hair brand and wash the crap out of this and then put a new hair dye over top of it, because I'm loving the dark purple look. It's giving like a vampy, dark, gothy, like Dracula Bride-ish. But my issue is that every time I start touching it, my hand starts turning purple. So I'm getting pretty pissed off about that. Another thing, which by the way I decided to do, I think like one video ago, I may have started doing it during my Twilight lore drop, which would have been the last video before this one. I'm not quite sure. But I'm not bleeping out my swear words anymore. It's too much work. I swear too much, and I don't bother to bleep them out during the Batshit Crazy podcast, so I'm not going to bother to do it here. Which also, real quick, if you guys haven't seen the podcast, there should be a new episode coming out not long after this drops on my channel. So go catch up on the existing episodes of season 2 before the new one comes out. Also, something that's happened since the last time that I recorded, I know that it's in real time for you guys, has been a few weeks, like 3 weeks since my birthday, but since the last time that I filmed, it's happened, and I'm 30 now. Last time that I filmed I was 29, because I filmed that I think like within a week before my birthday, something like that. But my birthday's officially happened now. I am officially 30. Don't know how I feel about it yet. Might talk about it later. But the thing that you guys are really here for is that I got a shifting tattoo. It's gonna be a little hard to see because of the part of my arm that it's on, but I'm gonna try. It is on this part of my arm. Yeah, I keep trying to like twist it and I feel like I'm just like giving myself a burn. But there it is. I have better photos of this that I'll go ahead and include over here. I'm gonna make sure that I include ones that I took after I left the tattoo place, because when I took them in the tattoo place, they had fresh goop and they were a little bloody. But I decided to get a shifting symbol on my arm. This was one of my birthday gifts to myself. The other ones were this. I'm hoping you'll actually be able to see it. I'm like, you guys have seen that I had this moon tattoo already, but I got it when I was 21. It was like the summer before I turned 22. So I've had it for like 8.5 years. And I'd never had it touched up before, so it was really, really gray and really faded. I already wash my hands all the time as it is, but I extra was washing my hands all the time post-COVID, and it faded the most after COVID. So I got my little crescent moon touched up, and then this is my little snake. I know what some people are gonna say. No, I do not have a snake because I'm a Slytherin, and no, I don't have a snake because I love Loki from the MCU. Even though this is not why you're here, I know some people might ask. I got this because of the representation of my name and about Lilith in mythology and the story of Lilith in the Garden of Eden, and how she never wanted to be subservient or submissive to anybody ever again, and would rather be known as a monster than to submit to other people. And I spent most of my 20s allowing myself to submit to people that just wanted to hurt me and control me. And I never wanted to do that again, especially not walking into this new phase of my life in my 30s. So I got this little snake who I named Eden. And Eden is here on my hand to remind me to never bow down to the will of others, especially those that do not have my best interest at heart, ever again. And I decided to get this touched up, and then this new one. I actually really want to get tattoos on all of my fingers between the knuckles. And I think I might also eventually get some up here as well on all my fingers. For anybody who doesn't know, I do actually really want to be like completely covered in tattoos. I want full sleeves. I want to get tattoos on my back and my legs. I think the only places that I would never get them, I would never get any on my face. I heard throat tattoos are brutal, so I would probably never do a throat tattoo. I would do back of the neck, but not front. I do have 2 chest tattoos, and of course I have my semicolon over here. But I decided, you know, if I'm paying for the hour as opposed to by the piece, because I'd only ever been to places where you pay by the piece, and I paid for the whole hour instead, and I was like, there's no point in me just going in and getting like a single small tattoo that's going to take like 10-15 minutes. I'm going to take up that whole hour, and I'm going to get multiple tattoos. So I went ahead and got this touched up while I was at it. And then I was like, you know what? It's time to bite the bullet. It's time to get my shifting symbol tattoo. Like I said, it's so hard to show in this video. Carly's is so much easier to see because hers is like on this part of her arm. Anybody who's watched the Batshit Crazy podcast already did see on the podcast, we had Beth on our podcast, who's another shifter, and they have matching shifting symbol tattoos that are the same size, I believe on the same arm, like on the back of their arm. So you see if they go like this. I really wanted mine right here because I wanted it to be in a very similar spot to this arm. Now, of course, this is going to look a little bit different because, you know, it's bigger, the shapes are different, but, you know, to me, they are in pretty much the same spot. This one's a tad lower just because I wanted them to be decently below the bend of my wrist, because it would be easier for healing, and also because I eventually really want to get tattoos that wrap around my wrists. And the bend in this wrist does go a little bit lower than this one, so it's like a little below it, but it's still relatively in the same spot. And then when I hold it, just like, to me, it's not twisted. It only looks twisted because of how your skin and your muscles move. So I finally got my shifting symbol tattoo, and today's video is really all about that. It's kind of also going to be me just like talking to you guys about the shifting symbol and about why I wanted it and about the experience of getting it and now how I feel knowing that I have it. So first and foremost, I don't know who actually made the shifting symbol. I am so old that I've been in the community long enough that I was there before they made the shifting symbol. And if any of you guys know who it is I'm about to reference, please tell me in the comments. There was somebody who on early Shift Talk, I don't remember if it was in 2020 or if it was in 2021, but it was in like the first, I'd say, like year of the shifting community, where people were talking about we should have like a symbol that represents shifters, and someone was like, hey, we should have a contest where we all put in ideas of what we think the symbol should be, and then all the people on Shift Talk will take a huge vote on which one they like best, and then that'll become like the official symbol of reality shifting, specifically on like TikTok, but also people seem to also acknowledge it in other spaces. I have also seen it on shifting Tumblr. I've seen it on shifting YouTube. I think back in the day, like way back in the day when I was still on Amino, I think I saw it on Amino as well. And there were times when I did see it on shifting Twitter when I was still on Twitter. Is shifting Twitter still a thing? I know for a while the shifting community moved to Blue Sky. I did as well. But like there's like fucking nobody there anymore. Is like the shifting community back on Twitter? I don't even know anymore. But I remember seeing a bunch of people putting in symbols that were like similar to, I guess like the infinity symbol was like a lot of them that was like really similar, but this was the one that won out. And yes, by the way, it is upside down on my arm. I know most arm tattoos, they're supposed to be like right side up when they're facing out, but just like my semicolon, I wanted this one to be upside down because while I do want art on these arms that are gonna be like right side up, so they would be like the correct direction facing you with my arm down, these two were ones that had really deep emotional and mental meaning to me. So to me, it was most important that I could see them right side up, which is why my semicolon is upside down to everybody else. I really wanted my shifting tattoo to be right side up to me. But I do remember people talking about the shifting symbol stuff for a few days, and it was like I didn't even get the chance to vote. I think it was just like all of a sudden, like, it kind of vanished for a few days, and then all of a sudden, oh, this was the one that won the contest, and suddenly everybody was using it, and people were drawing it on the back of their hand, and people were drawing it in notebooks and putting it on their like their notebooks and stuff and on their scripts, and it started appearing on people's profile photos, and people started making merch for it on Etsy. Like, if people were advertising shifting readings, they were putting it on the cover of the photo of the Etsy listing. People started making jewelry. Back in the day, people weren't making like proper jewelry. Like, I'm actually wearing a shifting symbol necklace right now. It's actually like a really high quality necklace. It's like, it's thick. It's been properly stamped on here. I got it from Etsy. I don't remember the name of the seller. I want to say it was something like Gremlins and Goblins, or Goblin Gremlins, or something like that. It's like, it had something to do with that. It almost sounded like a D&D type name. But when I looked up shifting symbol necklace, this was what came up. So if you look up on Etsy shifting symbol necklace, this is probably like one of the first like 4 or 5 that you'll see. And I really was looking for something like this, and they didn't have it in the early days. A lot of it was like people taking like paper clips at home and making their own shifting symbol necklaces, and now people have really like cornered the market on like shifting jewelry and are making more high quality stuff, and now you can find stuff that's like this, or you can find people that are making it like a bigger thing where it's almost just like the outlines of the shape in metal, stuff like that. And then it was like a few months later, when it had finally really worked its way into the community pretty much across all platforms, it started showing up on people's bodies. There were a lot of shift talkers, both big and small, who started getting shifting tattoos. Some of them were getting them like on this part of their hand. I saw a few that were getting them behind their ears. There was a girl who went pretty viral that got one on the back of her neck. And people kind of went wild for it. And I have wanted tattoos for years. My first tattoo was my semicolon, and I got it when I was 21. It was actually my gift to myself for my 21st birthday. And ironically enough, there's actually a video on this channel of me talking about it, but it was years after I had gotten it. And I convinced myself back when I didn't know what I was making videos about and I was still looking for my niche. I was just like, I'm gonna make videos about all my tattoos. I only had like 3 or 4 at the time, but I got all of my tattoos, including this one. And I have 2 that are on my chest that I got, I think, within like an 18-month period of time or less. I think it was actually more like 16 months. Like this one I got, I want to say like a week or 2 before my 21st. And then I got a tattoo I have on this side of my chest, which actually I'm going to eventually have covered up. I just don't know with what, but it was done really poorly, and the tattoo artist changed the design without telling me. Like, the stencil looked correct, and then she changed what it looked like without asking me. And she did it so horribly because she was pushing so hard that her elbow was actually actively shaking because she was pushing so hard. And it was the closest I'd ever been to crying during a tattoo. I sit really, really well for tattoos. I like, people talk about finger tattoos being like the most painful tattoos ever. Yeah, it's gonna suck, it's a tattoo, but like, I kept up full casual conversation, breathing normal, not freaking out, just having a conversation with my artist while she was doing them. And this one was so bad that you could see it during the healing process, that like there was actual like gashes from where like she just like had dug into me, and like chunks of my skin were physically missing because she had like dug them out. And I want to get this one covered up really bad, but I have a Beauty and the Beast tattoo on this side of my chest. I actually really wish that I had been smarter when I was in my early 20s about tattoo placement, because now I really love the idea of symmetrical stuff. I like the idea of having like symmetrical tattoos and symmetrical piercings. When I talk to people about wanting to get piercings and tattoos, I actually like, I have my ears stretched and I have one piercing right here. The goal is to have 3 or 4 piercings with hoops on this ear, and then get the identical piercings on this ear. And then I want to get my 2nd and 3rd holes done on both ears once these are up to the size I want, and then to get a conch piercing in each ear. So I want them to match. And I really feel like if I could go back, I would have got my Beauty and the Beast tattoo somewhere else. I would really love to have gotten like a big, almost like gothy art style chest piece. I feel like that would have looked nicer when I was wearing like crop tops or v-necks or tank tops or something like that. I feel like that just would have looked better. But I really want to get like tattoos that are of like kind of a similar nature, like all across these parts of my fingers. So I want it to be like individual small, like all black tattoos that I want them to be like, they could be borderline like witchy or gothy, but like that kind of thing across all of these fingers, and then probably like identical designs across my fingers here. I think they'll look really sick when I have long nails, which I'm so excited for these to heal so that I can put my press-ons back on. I had them on for about 5 days and then I took them back off because of the tattoos. I just thought it would make aftercare a lot harder. But I feel like, did you just watch me get so distracted talking about tattoos that I forgot why I was here? Anyway, going back to the topic at hand, I've always loved tattoos and I really wanted to get this one. By the time I was in the shifting community, I already had all 4 of the ones that I already had. And I knew I wanted to get a shifting tattoo, but I couldn't really decide where I wanted it. And I was really in that mindset at the time where I was like, I'll get it as a reward to myself when I fully shift. And the longer I was in the community, the more that felt like not right, I guess is the only way to put it. And then I started following people that had it and I started like craving it more and more. And then I became friends with Carly, and a few months into our friendship, her and Beth both got shifting symbol tattoos. And I was so wildly jealous because I had been wanting one like since they started becoming really popular on Shift Talk. And I just thought that they were so cool. I loved that it really represented like a part of my path spiritually, and also that it was kind of like if there was ever another shifter, they were the only ones who would know what it was, you know? Like if someone knew, they were part of the club, you know? And that when people didn't know, it was almost like a thing that was like a secret for me. And anybody who asked what it was, I would just like make up some sort of bullshit. Which, by the way, if you are wondering how I tell people what this is, and like how I told my artist what this is, and how I'm gonna continue to tell people and shit like that, I took inspiration from Carly and I stole what she says to people. And I told my artist, technically it's not lying, I told my artist that this is a spiritual symbol that represents my connection to my higher self and the universe, and represents all things happening for a reason, and me being able to manifest the life that I want for myself, and that I can and will become the version of myself I am meant to be. And that the line through it represents like, that's my higher self, that's me, and, you know, connecting me. So technically it's not a lie. I think that that does still technically count as the meaning. It just happens to also be the representative symbol of the shifting community. And I feel like it was the perfect thing to explain. I also went to an artist who's like a very like witchy woo-woo person, and she happens to also be incredibly nerdy. She did not question this one bit. So if you want to steal that excuse, if you want to get your own shifting tattoo, that could be a good way to explain it. I still to this day have absolutely no idea who created the shifting symbol. So let's talk about why I got a shifting symbol tattoo. First and foremost, I got it because I think it's cool. Like, I don't care what people say. I know that everyone says that, you know, every tattoo has to have a meaning. And to be fair, all of mine do. But also I think if people just want to get a tattoo because they think that it looks cool, it's their body, let them do what they want to do with it. Part of the reason that I like it is because I think it looks really cool. Second of all, I feel like I'm adult enough to admit that even I go through slumps of like, this isn't worth it, I'll never make it, fuck this, like there's no point. And it really turns into me wondering why I try and wondering what the point is. And I felt like I needed something to remind me why I try, why it's important, why it's meant for me. And part of that was why I had gotten my shifting symbol necklace, and I wear this almost every day. I think 9 times out of 10 you can and will find me wearing this. I wear it all the time. It's my favorite necklace, and I got it for that reason, and partially it worked, but also when you're wearing a necklace you can't really see it unless it's super long, and reaching up and touching it only does so much. Like, it was different to see it, and it felt different to me at the idea of being able to like look at the symbol. And so there was a time when I was looking into maybe getting like a bracelet or a ring, but I really wanted something that I didn't have to worry about removing. I wanted something that would be with me always, not just because I wouldn't have to worry about like finding the piece of, you know, jewelry or whatever, but also because shifting is going to be a part of me always. I'm not one of these people who, and everybody's journey is different, I'm not one of these people who's going to ever stop. Like, I see people who have actively shifted and like been to other realities and they've had lives of their own, and then they're like, oh, I've stopped shifting because, you know, life just got too busy. Oh, I stopped shifting because it was, you know, bad for my mental health. I've stopped shifting because of this, that, and the other thing. And that's, like I said, to each his own. It is everybody's business how they deal with their journey. But even if for some reason, and I know I wouldn't, even if for some reason I wanted to stop shifting to places that are fictional here, like if I didn't want to shift anymore to like Harry Potter or Marvel or anything like that, I can't imagine not shifting at all. I can't imagine not shifting so that I can travel the world. I can't imagine not shifting when I could travel through different time periods and experience important parts of history. I can't imagine not shifting and being able to relive an idyllic childhood. I can't imagine not being able to shift and have like unlimited therapy. I can't imagine not being able to shift and make memories and have experiences that I will never be able to have here because of circumstance or finance or education or disability or whatever. I feel like even if I were to stop shifting to like fandom places, I would still be that person that was actively shifting for other things, and shifting would just change meaning for me. And I feel like even then, I can't see me not shifting to these places. I've been in the shifting community for 5 years. I walked into it at 25. I'm 30 and I'm still here. This isn't like a phase thing for me, and I know it's going to be like a permanent part of me and my soul. It's a huge grounding foundation for my friendships. My parents know about it. My siblings know about it. My partner knows about it. It's what I build this channel around. It's what Carly and I have built our podcast around. It's what I do for work tarot reading wise. It's what my TikTok's all about. And it feels like so much a part of me. And I feel like this was already something that I wanted a few years ago before I got even deeper into it. But once I became more open spiritually and I started having memories and I started having realizations and I started channeling, and I got a best friend who channels, and I started experiencing more of what shifting could offer me and how real it is. And when I started having mini shifts and being in these places, I knew I could never let go of that. I can't be half asleep in Tony Stark's house and then just exist normally ever again. That's not how I'm built. I can't do that. And I know for sure that shifting will always be a part of me. I know that these are lives that I will be living forever. I know that these are conversations I've had with my therapist. These are conversations that I've had with my partner. These are conversations I've had with my mother. Like, shifting has given me the ability to have experiences I can't have here. And I think in a way it makes my life here more special because it reminds me that I was put in this reality for a reason. I was born in this reality for a reason. And that means that it's important and that it's special and that it matters. And it makes me appreciate the simplicity of this life when I do have lives that are a lot more complicated and a lot more complex and a lot more weird. And it makes me appreciate the normal day to day. And I think it also gives me hope for the idea of how I view life and death and the afterlife and eternity and infinity and the galaxy and impossibility and all of these things that I wouldn't know how to feel about otherwise. And I just feel like it's really changed who I am as a person. It has really taught me about my capability to withstand difficult things. It has taught me about how deeply I can love, about how intensely I can withstand pain and difference and indifference. It's taught me about real friendship. It's taught me about loyalty. It's taught me about time. It's taught me about patience. It's taught me about owning my personality and being proud of who I am and being unashamed of how I exist. It's taught me about my spirituality and about acceptance. It's helped me to grieve things that I've had to let go of, and it's helped me to realize there are things that I can gain again because of shifting. It's opened my eyes to possibility and adventure, to freedom, to love, to romance, to friendship. It's opened me up to the idea of different career paths and education, of travel. It's opened me up to the idea that there are bonds that can literally last forever and places I can go forever. It's opened me up to the idea that I am capable of anything and that I am incredibly strong and capable and brave, and that I am more than others have made me out to be and more than I've thought myself to be, and that I was meant for this. And I realized along the way in my shifting journey that there are things that I felt and experienced as a child that are only made sense by shifting. There are things that I'll never talk about on the internet, but that a select few in my life know about, that are experiences that can only really be explained through shifting, and feelings that I've had my whole life that only make sense because of shifting. I remember having a conversation with my girlfriend not that long ago about it. That there are just certain things for me spiritually and emotionally that make sense because of shifting. And I think it really fills a hole in me that I didn't know was there for a long time. And it's an incredible comfort. And it brings a lot of peace to me. And I want my tattoos to mean something. The only reason that like this tattoo means so little to me and is going to get covered up is because it was botched. What it's of, hold on, let me see if I can, it's a Celtic protection symbol. It's a triquetra. I still want to have a triquetra somewhere on my body. This is just like not how I asked for it to be designed. She put the shading in the wrong spot. She added slight colored shading to it when I didn't want it. And there's also chunks of ink missing. And quite frankly, it's just not done the way that I want. So I want to eventually book this tattoo for a different place on my body to be done the way that I actually want it to be done. And then I'm just going to put something else here. But all of my tattoos are things that are important enough to me and hold enough of a spiritual and emotional meaning for me that I want to have them forever. I mean, even down to just like, you know, my little moon tattoo. This isn't just here because I like the moon and I'm a night owl, even though partially it is. It's also here because I feel a very deep draw as a witch to the moon. Like, this is a deep spiritual nature thing for me. And so I really want the art on my body to reflect that. And I decided a long time ago when I started getting tattoos and piercings that I really wanted to be like one of those, I don't even know what they're called. Do you guys remember, like from the early 2000s, I think it was, it would be like those black sheets of paper that it was almost like black paint on top of a rainbow piece of paper, and you had to use a stick to draw on it, and whatever you drew scratched away the paint and you could see rainbow underneath, and it was almost like you were drawing in rainbow. I feel like it's that. I never really think of my tattoos as I'm painting something on top of my body. I think of it more as scratching away the surface to reveal parts of me underneath that matter to me. And I always wanted to represent parts of who I am on my body. And I want to be able to do that in every way about me. I want to be able to have tattoos of like nerdy shit, and I want to be able to have tattoos of like gothic art. I want to have spiritual stuff. I want to have stuff that has to do with my family. I want to have stuff that has to do with my interests. I want stuff to do with music and movie quotes and video games and Like I want stuff that matters to me and is an interest of mine to really be represented on my entire body. And that's the same reason I also get tattoos and piercings, and I, you know, color my hair and stuff. But this felt like such a big part of my life that it almost didn't make sense to not put this on me. I feel like this has been so permanent in me for 5 years. That was something else that's happened since the last time I recorded. The day that I changed my hair was the day after my birthday, and that was actually my 5-year anniversary in the shifting community. And it feels even more right to me that that was also when I was planning on getting this. Even though I just got it yesterday, my artist had to move the appointment a couple times for personal reasons. But it feels really right that I waited 5 years into my journey. I don't think this would have meant as much had I gotten it 2 or 3 years ago. I think that it means more now that I have started having memories and realizations, and that I've started channeling, and that I've mini shifted, and that I feel so close in my journey. I think this also was a huge motivator to me. I'm sorry I can't like get my wrist around better. I keep like, I'm like hurting my wrist trying to like put it in weird directions so that you can see it. I feel like I have been struggling with being in a shifting slump. For any of you who did see the video that I posted about it, I did mini shift at the beginning of August, my Hogwarts DR. It was my 5th one. Yeah, my 5th mini shift. And every time that I mini shift, I end up in a weird slump. And I don't know why, but I've seen dozens of other people when I posted about it on TikTok who were like, oh hell yeah, I get in a huge slump afterwards. Don't know why. And I feel like it's been really hard for me to get out of that slump, but in a weird way, having this tattoo, it really reminds me of why I got into it in the first place, when shifting felt really exciting and fun and magical, when the entire process felt full of possibility and hope, and even the actual like shifting attempts were fun. Like not just the idea of being in my DR, but actually like laying down to shift used to feel so fun to me. My ass could not wait to get in the starfish position to do the fucking raven method. Wow, you really can see the difference between my hands. I just realized this isn't just the lighting. Like this is genuinely like, this still looks less purple back here. Yeah, even up here you can see this hand's genuinely more purple. I just washed my hands right before I started recording. That's just from touching my hair during this. Anyway, but it's been really hard for me to capture that feeling. I think honestly in the last few years, because shifting became such a chore for so long. And now having this, it really, I don't know, it kind of feels close. I even tried to shift my Hogwarts DR again last night when I haven't tried for a while. And even though I fell asleep pretty early in, I feel good about it. Like I want to try again tonight. I'm trying this new method that Carly came up with where it's not even really a method. And I don't really know how to explain it, and I don't know if it has a name, but it's pretty much, I'm not like doing any affirmations or any counting. It's literally just like thinking about my DR self and as my DR self while listening to this new subliminal that she's letting me test. So I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it other than the fact that like this made me feel really good getting it. When the appointment was on its way and I was like on my way across town to go to the tattoo place, I had pulled up a shifting playlist that I have, which is all like songs from early shift talk. Like it's got like Arcade and Runaway and Oh Children and My Blood, like all of the big like Harry Potter TikTok / early 2020 shift talk songs. And it made me feel some type of way in my feelings, just like so dramatic, looking out the open window, listening to shift talk songs on my way to get a shifting tattoo. And I felt really emotional about it. And now it's on my body forever, and I feel very okay about that. For a long time, I was really worried about how I was going to explain it to people, but I feel more comfortable getting it now that I've told my dad about shifting. So both of my parents and my siblings know, and you know, the people closest to me know what's up. And And I'm going to continue to explain it to people the way that I did to my tattoo artist. And anybody who gets it, they get it, and then we're going to be friends. I don't know if there are any other shifters that I'll ever meet in person besides the people that I choose to meet because I'm friends with them. But the idea that like I might walk into like a coffee shop or Walmart and someone be like, I know something you think I don't know. Like the idea of that's so fucking funny, and I might poop. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. But yeah, this felt very motivating for me to get, and I really wanted something that I could like look down and remember I'm doing this for a reason. And knowing that like I can look down and see on my arm a reminder of I wouldn't have been trying for 5 years if it didn't mean something. Anybody who knows me knows that because of my ADHD, I will obsess over something really, really hard, and then once I get it, it's like I don't care anymore. I obsessed for months over wanting a ukulele. As soon as I got a ukulele, played it twice, never played it again. I wanted to be able to play guitar. My parents got me a guitar, played it twice, took a lesson, never picked it up again. I'll become obsessed with the idea of owning something or doing something or getting something, and then it's like as soon as I have it, that goes away. Shifting has stuck around with me for 5 years. I've been a shifter longer than I've been with my wife, so you know that shit has stuck, and it's so real. As someone who has now inked my body with it forever, I don't take tattoos lightly. I don't take something permanent like that lightly because I have OCD, and I love shifting. I know I'm meant to be a shifter. I know that I'm meant to be here talking to you guys. I'm meant to give readings to people. I'm meant to do the podcast with Carly. This feels like it's part of my path for a reason. And it's important to me to have something I can look down at to remind me on the hard days that I am doing this for a reason. So yeah, that's everything I know about the shifting symbol and why I got the symbol tattooed. You can see more decent videos of it on my TikTok. I've posted like 5 or 6 of them. It's become my entire personality now. You can find my TikTok along with all of my other social media in the description below. I think I posted about it on my other social media as well, but like it didn't get as much traction as it did on TikTok. So I'm very excited that other people are excited about it. So yeah, I'm pretty early into the healing stage. Tattoos relatively take about 2 weeks to heal, and I'm only on my 2nd day of having it. It hasn't really started itching yet. None of them have. For me, actually, though, the itching phase is worse than the pain of the tattoo. And they haven't really started to scab yet either. That should start in like a day or 2. So right now, I'm just, doing the instructions of washing it a certain amount of times a day and cleaning it with a paper towel and putting A&D cream on it, that kind of thing. And making sure I'm not scratching at it or anything like that. And when it does get itchy, I'll be doing the patting instead of the scratching. So yeah, I have a shifting symbol tattoo now. A lot of stuff changed since the last time that I filmed. The idea that like you guys just saw a video of me a week ago, but to me that was like a month ago. And since then I have new tattoos. My hair is a different color. I've changed age, and my anniversary of being in the shifting community also passed. Like a lot of shit happened. My baby brother also just turned 21. That's nauseating. That happened like 3 days ago. It's been a long few weeks in my household. I think that's all I have to say. If you guys have any questions about the tattoo, you can definitely leave them down in the comments and I will answer them the best I can. If you have any questions about like shifting in general, actually, I'm still collecting questions for a second part of a shifting Q&A. So you can go ahead and leave those in the comments as well. And also, if you have any ideas for future video topics that you want to leave in the comments, that's also really appreciated. I'm also going to warn ahead of time, I'm about to film a video right after this one in the same lighting and the same shirt. So don't judge me when you see me look exactly like this next week. Like I said before, all of my social media is down in the description below. If you would like a shifting tarot reading from me, please also contact the email that's down there. I charge $15 USD a piece, and you can get as many readings from me as you would like, and we can have a consultation through that email address. If you're not already subscribed, please click the subscribe button, join the family, and turn on my post notifications so you can see every time I post on Thursdays. I have 5,000 subscribers on here, and not even half of you guys are being able to see my videos. I don't know what's going on, but make sure you turn the notification bell on so that you know when I'm posting. I love you guys very much. Thank you for sitting through this video that ended up being longer than I would have liked for it to, and I'm sorry that I rambled. ADHD is really rampant today. Hope you guys like the new tats, and I will see you next week. Bye.